Over the past few years, I've helped tons of companies like EventSair, ClickHouse, CheckWriters, and more drive millions in revenue through SEO. And now I'm going to share my exact strategy. This will be a full free course on exactly how you can rank #1 for revenue driving keywords, attract your dream clients, drive qualified sales pipeline inbound, and make SEO a top revenue driver for your B2B or SaaS company. So whether you're a B2B marketer or a founder, this is going to give you the exact strategy you need to start ranking #1 on Google and driving quality pipeline and revenues. Plus, if you stick around to the end, I'll share a lesser known strategy that tons of B2B and SaaS companies are sleeping on. Right, let's dive in. But before we dive into the fundamentals and exactly how you can make SEO a top revenue driver for your B2B or SaaS company, I want to take a weird approach and talk about when you should not do SEO. So SEO is not a great fit for every single company. First and foremost, if you're a new category, a new sector, or an unusual type of business, in the sense that folks don't actually know that your offer or your category exists, i.e. it's a new offering that folks aren't aware of yet, and they're not going to be searching on Google for the solution, the software, the service, or even the problem you fix. SEO is not going to be the smartest bet. Instead, you're probably better off working out exactly where those dream clients hang out, the channels they do spend time on, and educating them, entertaining them, and making your position, the problem you solve, top of mind. Another situation SEO is not a great fit is if you've been recently funded or you need to get results super quick. I'm talking in the next few days, weeks, or similar. Although with a solid strategy we will share, you can drive pipeline and revenue as quick as 90 days that we'll dive into. If you're under extreme pressure, maybe from VCs, funding teams, etc., you might be better off looking at paid media, ads, or similar. And the last situation where SEO is not going to be the best fit is if you lack the resources in-house to make it a success. Maybe you lack content writers, web developers, technical folks who have a solid understanding of B2B and SEO, or you're lacking the cash to pay an outside team, a contractor, or an agency to drive the results that you need. So when is SEO a great fit? Well, SEO is a great fit if you are in a category that is known. So there are dream clients actively searching for your solution, your service, or your software, or looking for the problems that you solve with your offer. You've probably heard of the 95-5 rule, which means 95% of your dream clients probably aren't looking for your solution or evaluating options right now. But SEO is best placed to go after that 5% of dream clients that are in market, actively looking for solutions, comparing options, or ready to have a sales conversation. That's where SEO really kicks in, so you can start driving that inbound flow of pipeline of those dream prospects looking for your offer on Google or comparing their options, so you can start driving inbound calls, signups, leads, or demos. And why should you consider SEO for your B2B or SaaS company over other channels? Well, I often say SEO is a great part to feed into the B2B marketing system. It's rare that a channel in general is best done as a silo on its own, especially if you're selling a high ticket B2B service, software, or solution. So a few advantages SEO can bring to the table is it builds trust over time. As many folks know, if they're doing a Google search, they know what's a sponsored paid listing, and they often place more trust in the organic results below the sponsored listings. SEO is going to reduce your reliance on paid media and potentially reduce your spend over time. So if you're investing tons into things like Google Ads or similar, it means that over time you might be able to own those organic top spots for those commercial high sales intent money keywords and reduce that paid spend over time, not just on Google but other channels, to make it a top organic inbound driver. Plus, SEO has the evergreen organic effect. You've probably seen, as an example, on YouTube, when you search for a topic, you've probably seen videos in the search results that are maybe a few weeks, a few months, or even a few years old. SEO is exactly the same. You can drive traffic and qualified leads, not just in the short and medium term, but for years to come. Each page, each article, each landing page, each solution page you build out as an asset to your website, the foundation of your marketing. They're all assets that you can own and that you can control. And over time, that evergreen effect compounds. Much like a moat around a castle, you're building and building and building upon your moat as your SEO to drive those qualified inbound prospects. You're putting more and more lines in the water with each and every page, each and every asset you build. So you can almost build a kingdom of pages of content, of an SEO moat around your website and drive qualified traffic, leads and revenue for years to come. So a massive part of B2B marketing in general is customer research. And this is a part that so many B2B and SaaS companies completely sleep on. And in the age of AI, where so much content can be churned out almost at the click of a button, customer research is what's going to set you apart from all the other businesses competing to win customers on Google and AI search right now. So why is it going to help you? Well, it means that you can start really resonating with those dream clients. So even if you do rank with a piece of content, if you don't resonate with those dream clients, their expensive problems, their motivators, their goals, their jobs to be done, then the chances are they'll probably just bounce off your page within a few seconds. So customer research is going to be that secret to make sure your pages really ring true and really attract, build trust with, and convert those focused prospects into inbound leads, calls, signups, or otherwise. So what I recommend is you line up a list of 7 to 10 ideally recent won customers, because they're not going to be biased towards yourself, your offer, or your solution. Or if not, then you may need to get some recently churned or recently lost clients, or possibly some longer term ones, but ideally they're recently converted, as they're not going to be biased in the answers they give. Now you want to ask them some questions like this, which you can tweak and tailor to your offer as needed, but these are some that work really good for breaking B2B clients in general and cover quite a wide spectrum. So first and foremost, what were the exact problems you came to us to fix? Number 2, what job were you trying to get done? Number 3, why did you choose us over the competitors that you're evaluating? Number 4, what made you almost not decide to choose to work with us? Don't be afraid here. Please don't hold anything back. Be as transparent and blunt as you can. Number 5, what was the impact of not fixing the original problem? I'm sure there were some issues, like maybe there was some churn, or maybe there was some time delays, maybe projects were overrunning. Like, please go as deep as you can here. Number 6, what was the tipping point that made you finally decide to reach out to companies to take action and start solving this issue? Number 7, what were your main outcomes that you hope to see as a result to working with us or with our solution? Number 8, what were the other competitors that you were reviewing as part of the process? Number 9, love this one. What do you hate most about our industry? And number 10, where do you go to get trusted information? So once you've done these recordings, then you can record them with a tool like Fathom or similar and Zoom. Then you can go through all the transcripts that get automatically generated, and you want to look for patterns in all the responses. So in terms of if you get similar responses for key questions, you want to make a note of that, and that can really start guiding you. Later on in this episode, we're going to talk about how you can craft different pages like articles, landing pages, competitor pages, and more, and we can make sure that those pages are really going to resonate with our dream clients by leveraging this customer research to know exactly what our dream clients' problems, goals, jobs to be done, motivators are, as well as their main competitors that they're evaluating, so we can weave that into our content and we can really outshine any other competitor on our market and really ring true and make sure that our prospects trust us to deliver. So what metrics should you be focusing on with your SEO campaign and program? Well, first and foremost, you don't want to get sucked into what I call the traffic trap. What does that mean? Well, it means focusing on traffic at all costs. And that usually means going after informational based keywords. As an example, that could be what is a KPI, what is a CRM, how to build a website. Really straightforward, informational based queries that probably show up on SEO tools like Ahrefs or SEMrush as having a lot of traffic, but they're top funnel and they're most likely folks that are looking for information on a subject, or maybe even students or similar looking to get quick responses. Plus, these type of top funnel, informational, educational based, really straightforward queries are getting wiped out quite a lot by AI search. For example, AI overviews. When you do some searches on Google, there's an instant response above the fold that gives you an instant answer to the query along with some supporting links. So instead of doing the traditional Google search where you get the blue links, you have to trawl through and click into each page. Some terms now they're getting wiped out with that AI overviews at the top and then the traditional listings underneath. And not only that, a dream client is probably not going to be searching for a how-to or a simple what is when they're ready to evaluate solutions or speak to salespeople. So instead, you want to do the exact opposite and focus on money keywords. What exactly exactly would my dream client search for on Google when they're ready to speak to a salesperson around our offer, which we'll dive into in a sec. Now, just before I show you that, if at any stage during this free course you feel like you'd want more help, and you'd want to drive success from SEO pipeline and revenue as quick as 90 days, you can grab a free call over at breakingb2b.com. We can dive into exactly where you're at now, where you'd like to get to, and see if we're a good fit to start driving pipeline and revenue for SEO for your B2B business, or hit the link in the description below. Right, back to the video. So let's dive into building out your money keywords. First and foremost, what the heck is a money keyword? Well, money keyword is a high sales intent search that a dream client would do on Google when they're ready to speak to a salesperson, grab a demo, grab a sign up, or book a call with your team around your offer. They're not at that informational based stage. They're not educating themselves on your topic or your industry. They have high sales intent and they're looking to take that next step. So what I encourage you to do, one of the most straightforward ways to build out this process is to fire up a Google Sheet or an Excel sheet, and first and foremost, split it into 4 main columns. So I'll give you an example here. Let's pretend that we are a SaaS company selling proposal software. So we'll do 4 main columns. Column 1 is your offer, how folks can refer to your solution, all the different ways they might explain your solution, or do all the different ways they might describe your solution. Column 2 is the industries you serve best. Column 3 is all the main competitors that get brought up on sales conversations. And column 4 is jobs to be done of your dream clients. What are those struggling moments? Maybe what are those ways that folks get the job done internally in-house before they reach a tipping point where it becomes too expensive, too time consuming, maybe it causes staff churn, where they really realize they need to reach out to evaluate solutions or services to get the job done in a better manner. So let's dive into these in a bit more depth. Column 1, the offer. What are all the ways that folks can refer to our service, our software, our solution? So if we were selling proposal software in this instance, but yours might be a service, like for example at Breaking B2B, we provide B2B SEO. So we might refer to our offer as B2B SaaS SEO, B2B SEO, SaaS SEO, etc. But if we go to the software space and the proposal software example, it could be proposal software, proposal tools, proposal platform, and there's going to be a bunch of others. That's column 1. Column 2, industries. So what do I mean by industries? Industries that have historically bought well from us, that have the expensive problem we solve, that are motivated to solve it, and have cash to easily invest in our offer. And the best way to get that data is to look into your CRM and look at those companies that you've historically really sold well into, that drive good margins, you enjoy working with, and from doing that customer research, you know that they're a common industry that you serve, you enjoy working with, they have their expensive problem you solve, and they're just generally a great customer you want to go after. So that could be sales teams, HR, fintech, finance, sports, whatever industries that you have sold well into in the past. Competitors. So if we flip back to our proposal software example, what are the main competitors? Well, that could be PandaDoc, GetAccept, Quilla. They're all quite well-known folks in the proposal space. It could be Proposify as well as another one. Or maybe we did calendar scheduling software. Maybe that was our offer. So if we're in the calendar scheduling world, it might be Calendly, Revenue Hero, HubSpot Meetings, Chili Piper, and all the same. And then jobs to be done. Again, this is where your customer research is going to kick right into play. So what are problems that often come up on sales calls, or the ways that folks try to do something in-house before they get too frustrated and reach out? So it could be how to write proposals that convert, or how to write sales proposals in Google Docs, or how to write sales proposals in Google Sheets, or how to write sales quotes in Google Sheets, or how to close more sales quotes, or how to close more sales proposals. What are those struggling moments, those pain points that our product or our service really solves, that folks are likely searching for, that are super crisp and super specific? Then, once you've got these 4 main columns built out, exhaust them, get with your sales team, your marketing team, your customer success team, or if you're the founder of the company, you probably know all this intel already, along with your customer research calls. Then make it as exhaustive as possible, because the whole point of this is we want to make long tail money keywords that our dream clients are going to be looking for when they need our offer. So if we flip back to some examples, so in the proposal space, in the proposal software space, a really nice money keyword might be best proposal software, proposal tools, best proposal platform, best proposal platforms. But the thing is, those are going to be really hard to rank for, especially if we're a newcomer, as PandaDoc, GetAccept, Quilla, Proposify are all going to be ranking well. So that might be a money keyword that we set aside and we slowly work on over time with content and backlinks. In the meantime, we might want to go a little bit more niche. There's riches in the niches when it comes to B2B and SaaS SEO. So we'll make the keyword a bit more long tail. So we might weave in our industry terms and then do things like proposal software for sales teams, proposal software for HR, proposal software for fintech, and do that with all the variants like proposal tools for fintech, or best proposal tools for HR, best proposal tools for sales teams, and so on. You get the idea. We're weaving in offer plus industry. Then the next strategy that works super well for software and SaaS specifically is going after competitor alternatives and similar. So once we've made a list of all our main competitors, then we know in the B2B space, it's rare that folks go after the first vendor they hear about. They normally make a short list of 4, 5 or more vendors, then discuss it internally, evaluate, and eventually go for one. But folks are often going to be on the fence and comparing options together. So they'll do searches like, in the proposal software space, competitor alternative searches might be PandaDoc alternatives, GetAccept alternatives, Proposify alternatives. But they will also search for things like Proposify pricing, GetAccept pricing, Quilla pricing, or they might do one competitor against the other, and that'll be your chance to introduce yourself as a third solution, like PandaDoc versus Proposify. And all these kind of searches usually bring up an article that goes into depth on the comparison. But if, for example, on a versus keyword, PandaDoc versus Proposify, we talk about the pros and cons of each of those two weighed up, and then towards the end we'd introduce our third option, which is our software or our tool, and talk about how we stand out, our differentiators, why folks choose us, weave in social proof, and look to drive inbound leads that way. There's a lot of gold in those money keywords for competitor alternatives and similar. And then if we go more top funnel, a little bit more informational based, the jobs to be done, so how to write sales proposals in Google Docs and similar, how those work is they're usually articles again, and usually we'll go down a problem, agitation, solution route. So we'll say, are you struggling with this? Are you struggling with writing, for example, proposals that convert on Google Docs? This is one way you can do it, and you can walk through how to build it out in Google Docs or Google Sheets. But you'll probably notice it takes a lot of manual effort. It can take hours to get the proposal right, and so on and so forth. And it might be costing you time, frustrating your sales team, and more. Instead, we've created this software or this solution that will 10x your productivity, will reduce X amount of hours off your workload each and every week. You can do it in just a few clicks. Why not grab a free trial or book a demo? Here's a recent client testimonial talking about how they moved from manual processes in Google Docs to using us, and now grab your free demo or free sign up. So you're talking about the problem, the impact, and then introducing your solution. And there are other ways you can go about it. So we've talked about kind of bottom funnel money keywords. We've talked about more top funnel jobs to be done. Other examples are mid funnel. So going back to the proposal software space, if someone's kind of halfway along that buyer's journey, they might look for assets that they can grab. So it could be sales proposal checklists, sales proposal templates, sales proposal examples, those kind of things where we'd look to rank an article that talks about, gives them useful tips, advice, and resources, but also gives them a downloadable asset. So in that mid funnel, they can exchange their name and email, get a really useful checklist, template, or example, and then we can start nurturing them with either retargeting ads, we can nurture them over email, send them more useful stuff, and eventually they might grab a demo, book a call, or refer someone our way. For example, with Breaking B2B, as a service company opposed to a software company, we might go for B2B SEO checklists, or SaaS SEO checklists, or SaaS SEO templates, etc. So you get the idea of how you could flip this to a service-based industry. And then the only thing I'd add is once you've made all your variants, you've really exhausted this process, you can then run those long tail keywords through a tool like Ahrefs or SEMrush to check the monthly search volume, the monthly search traffic each one gets. But search traffic shouldn't be the be all and end all, as what you'll find is a lot of these high sales intent, bottom funnel money keywords do have a lot lower traffic compared to top funnel informational based keywords. And that's usually a good thing. It can also mean that they're less competitive. So the keyword difficulty could be lower for some of these, which is great, as oftentimes it means you can rank faster. They might get lower search volume, but they're more likely to result in that inbound call, inbound demo, trial, or whatever conversion point we're going after. So I would say look for long tail keywords that have good sales intent, that have that commercial intent. If you can start with the lower difficulty ones as well, you can probably rank a little bit faster, especially if you're a newer website that lacks that domain reputation or domain authority and lacks some strong backlinks. And one thing to bear in mind, if there is queries, solutions, or terms that yourself as the founder or your sales team here come up time and time again on sales calls, you've built out your money keyword list, but then you've checked some of these search terms or some of these solutions or requests or in-depth queries that you're getting on sales calls, you've ran them through an SEO tool like Ahrefs or similar, but it's not showing up as any search traffic. The only thing I would say is those tools often work on historical data. So if it is something you're hearing demand for on sales or customer success calls, it might be worth going for it because you're hearing it from the market. If you can build a best-in-class page that's going to rank, the chances are the demand is coming, it's out there. Like I say, those tools often work on historical data. So if you can be the first to start ranking for that, you could probably capture some of that demand early and start driving leads from that page is one thing to consider. All right, so once you've built out your exhaustive list of money keywords, the next thing you want to do is a process called assessing the intent and a bit of a competitor review and analysis. So I'm going to share a couple examples now, one from a B2B SaaS standpoint and then one from a B2B service company standpoint. So first and foremost, I'm doing a search now if you're watching for B2B alternatives, so going down the competitor alternatives route. So we recently got our B2B SaaS events management platform client, Eventsair, organic number 1. We actually got them a featured snippet, which is nice for this term. So what we're doing here is assessing the intent. Basically means what type of page does Google expect to see for this certain money keyword search. So in this case, what we do is we look at B2B alternatives. That's our money bottom of funnel keyword we want to rank for, that's quite likely to result in potential leads, demos, sales calls if we can rank top. So we look at the organic results. So what we would have done is we could see that a lot of these are top 10 B2B alternatives, top 12, top competitors 2025. So we can see that majority of the search results in the organic are what we call product listicles, product comparisons. So basically lists of top 10, top 15 and similar. So we know that in order to rank effectively, it makes sense for us to build an article that follows that framework as a page. But if I flip that to a service-based company, so for example, if I search B2B SaaS SEO agency, so we recently managed to rank top for breaking B2B for this term, I can see that it's actually a mix of intents. We've got 10 best, we've got landing pages, we've got reviews. So what you'll see is it's actually a mix. Sometimes for certain queries, there's a mix of, in this case, product listicles like the top 10 examples, as well as dedicated landing pages. So we actually managed to rank for a landing page. So the whole point of assessing the intent is to make it easy for your company to rank effectively on Google organic search and understand what type of page Google favors. Is it a landing page, a how-to article, a what is article, a product listicle, a product comparison, an alternative page, a versus article, etc. So you can build the right page first and foremost and make it easier for you to start ranking competitively. But one quick tip is if you review the search results for one of your money keywords and it seems to be a bit of a mixture, i.e. a little bit like B2B SaaS SEO agency, it's a mix of landing pages and articles, you might be able to rank for both. So we have done this for clients where we've ranked them organic position 1 and organic position 2 because Google had a mix on page 1 of landing page and articles. We ranked them for a landing page and an article, so they got 2 bites of the cherry in the organic search, or 3 bites if they were doing paid as well. So once we've assessed the intent and we know the type of page that we need to build to rank effectively for one of our money keywords, what we'd usually do is look at the top organic results pages and look for gaps in their pages that we can double down on. So in this example, if I flick to this page maybe by event decks, let's have a look here. So there's a few things that I'm looking out for straight away. So there's a great tool called SEO Pro Extension, which is free, which I often use to quickly evaluate pages from a high level. So you can quickly pull details like the word count of the page. So this page I'm looking for by event decks looks like just under 3.7k words. Not that word count's the be all and end all, but you probably want to evaluate if you look at 3 or 4 pages of competitors that are ranking well, that you're trying to rank top for that money keyword. Get a rough idea of average word count just so you're not doing something that's way too short in terms of content. And you can also look at things like the structure of their pages, the H1, and a bunch of other good stuff on the page. So in this case, they've got the 10 best B2B alternatives and competitors for 2025. And there's a few things that I'd recommend straight away. Usually, I go for a blow out the water strategy if I'm looking to completely outrank a page. That means I don't want to go back to the drawing board in 3-6 months. I want to completely blow anything else out of the water. So if this was a brand new page, so let's say right now what was ranking well was the 5 best, I'd probably just do the 10 or the 15 best or the 20 best, so I don't have to go back anytime soon. And when it comes to this type of page, like competitor alternatives, or you might be going for competitor pricing or trying to rank for competitor reviews, whatever it might be. A lot of companies get these wrong. So usually for this style article, typically you would give a brief intro. In this case, why would you consider the alternatives? And then you jump into the options out there. So naturally they've put their own offer as number 1 and then a summary of some underneath. Now where companies get these product listicles, these alternative pages and similar wrong is that they simply talk about how great they are and how awesome they are, when instead you want to leverage that customer research that we did right at the start and talk about what are the problems we solve that others don't. Maybe we've got a competitor chart that shows us versus the most common competitor. We talk about our differentiation, talk about why customers choose us opposed to other options. Maybe we weave in a customer quote, a customer video testimonial, maybe even one that moved from that competitor specifically to us. So we're really basically showing skeptical prospects that land on this page exactly why they should consider us, proof points, and kind of really bringing up those pain points, and then specifically how our product solves them, main features that attack those pain points, maybe talk about pricing a little bit, and then make it really easy for folks to take a next step, whether that's grabbing a demo, booking a call, or whatever that next step might be. And then underneath, in this case, for a competitor page, you do a fair summary. We don't want to get into any legal battles, so let's do a fair summary of the other competitors that we're going to list underneath in the article. And then if I look at it from a service-based company, so if I look for a landing page that's ranking for B2B SaaS SEO agency, if we look at this example by Accelerate, so we can see that they've kind of started with a problem statement: is your agency failing to produce results? They've got some testimonials, some brands work with. They're talking a little bit about their process. They've got some success stories, and then some FAQs. I would usually look, again, how can I blow, this is completely different, this is a landing page opposed to an article. How can I blow this landing page out the water? A few things straight away. I'd think, again, how can I leverage my customer research and insights to really speak to those top 3 or 4 pain points, and then exactly how we solve them specifically. Also things like, are there more proof points, customer review videos, and more. I love on landing pages weaving in YouTube videos, even a YouTube video embed that's on that specific topic. Seems to give us a bit of a boost as well in the rankings, and also gives folks more chance to check out our ecosystem and flick over to our YouTube channel, consume more of our content, and build more trust. Maybe on this competitor page, they've just got basic FAQs. So I can really double down on our FAQs, leverage that customer research I've got, and dive into those pain points, those objections, those concerns, why they were skeptical about working with companies like us, and really double down on that in both the copy and the FAQs. And maybe I dive into the process in more depth. So essentially anything I feel is light on content on their side, I'll double down on it. Any new insights I can take from my customer research, I double down on. And in short, I look to make my landing page the most helpful, trustworthy, useful, and easy to take the next step as possible. I'm leveraging a framework called EEAT that Google rolled out some time ago: experience, expertise, authority, trust, and making sure that our page outshines that competitors in every way possible. And as you can see on the Breaking B2B, on the B2B SaaS SEO agency page, we've got that YouTube video embed on B2B SaaS SEO masterclass at the top. We've got CTA for book a call and client success stories under the H1 tag. Got some brands work with. Then we actually share our pricing openly. Got some video reviews, talk about the process, talk about more detail. Then got some 3 or 4 case study examples, dive more into the process, talk about our team, some more customer quotes with their headshots and exactly how we help them, and then some specific FAQs around how long does it take to see results, do you offer custom pricing, are there guarantees, and all those kind of head-on objections that show transparency. Can also speed up sales cycles and allow Google to see us as a useful source, as well as AI tools, and enable folks to get the information they need in order to be ready to take a next step. All right, you might think, Sam, you're talking a ton about content and ranking pages, but you haven't talked at all about technical SEO. So let's talk about technical SEO. First and foremost, I believe a lot of technical SEO, especially in B2B and SaaS, is BS, because so many SaaS and B2B service websites are typically quite thin on content. And from my experience, it's not something you need to spend months and months on technical audits or investing tons and tons of cash into until you get to sites with thousands of pages. That's when it becomes more and more important. So some of the main things you want to think about when it comes to technical SEO. So if we go back to our example for our client events there, where we rank them organic position 1, got the featured snippet for Bizzabo alternatives. What do we want to think about from a technical SEO perspective? So let's nail down some basics. First and foremost, we want our website to load quickly, to load fast, to work smoothly across mobile, tablet, and PC. The next thing is we want our money keyword, so in this case Bizzabo alternatives, within our metadata, so within our meta title. This is what shows up on the search engine results page. So in this case, it's we review 10 of the best Bizzabo competitors and alternatives. So next up, you want that money keyword within the URL. So that might be yourdomain.com/money-keyword. So in this case, it'd be eventsair.com. They've done /blog and then /money keyword. So yours might be yourdomain.com/money-keyword. If you use that framework with a hyphen to separate spacing, that's the best bet when it comes to placing your money keyword within your URL. Or for Breaking B2B, it was breakingb2b.com/B2B-SEO-agency. So that gives you an example there. Next up, you want that money keyword within your H1. Only one H1, only one heading 1 tag per page. And if you want to check, if you use SEO Pro extension, you can quickly see the H1 of yours and competitors' pages. The next thing, this is going to be a mix of kind of UX, user experience, user interface, and best practices for both pages and articles. What I'd recommend is if you can have the publish date, if it's an article page, you want the publish date in the hero area, ideally a nice image or example or similar, and also the author of the post if it's an article. As we scroll down, we want to remember that a lot of our potential clients that are going to be landing on this page, perhaps the first time they've ever heard of our company, we do not want this page to be a wall of text. We want them to be able to easily skim the page, whether it's an article or a landing page, quickly get an idea of the problem they might be facing, how we're well suited to fix it, and then we want to make sure it's a sales page. So we want to weave in plenty of examples of our product or our service or our solution, plenty of proof points, customer quotes, video testimonials, and so on, brands worked with, and we want to make it clear that we're the right choice for their pain point or whatever they're looking at in terms of the solution, service, or offering. So as we scroll down, we want plenty of examples of the product in action. We want to make it super easy to skim on mobile, PC, and similar. So if we quickly look at our client check writers, we're looking at one of their articles, the top 8 payroll reports. They're trying to rank for payroll reports on this one. What we're doing is, usually on these articles in terms of kind of structure and format, the H1 is top 8 payroll reports and examples. So that, again, that will be in their meta title, and payroll reports will be in the description. We can see in their URL, they've got checkwriters.com/blog and then /payroll-reports. We now do a quick summary to give a quick snapshot, which actually helps folks get picked up in the AI overviews on Google and gives people a quick insight, and also can sometimes help you get picked up, it seems, at least in LLMs and ChatGPT and similar. Then we'll talk about the problems they might be facing, what they are, and then get straight into the summary, in this case, of the 8 comparisons we're making, featuring check writers at the top, showing their points of differentiation, why them, and so on. What we tend to do is structure the lower titles as you go through the article as H2, make sure that the article is really easy to skim, plenty of white space, plenty of visuals, so examples of the product in action, GIFs of that product aha moment where it clicks into play and such, and relevant client social proof, examples, video testimonials, client quotes, and more. And the other thing that's quite nice is on the left-hand side of articles having a table of contents, so folks can quickly flick to the part of the article they want to see, and likewise a fixed call to action box underneath that table of contents. So in this case, want to fix your payroll issues, schedule a call with us today, then a CTA to easily request a meeting. So that works really well on these kind of bottom funnel articles where folks are looking directly for a solution or comparing alternatives or similar. If it was more mid-funnel, it might be download this cheat sheet or grab this template or asset. If it was kind of even more top funnel, it might be check out our podcast, our YouTube channel, or check out our newsletter. So a few things to bear in mind. And the other thing on the technical side, going back to the technical, is internal links. So nailing your page speed, making sure your website works well on mobile, tablet, PC. And another thing on technical side is making sure your money keywords in your URL, making sure your money keywords in your metadata, making sure it's in your heading 1, H1 tag, and you've only got one H1, making sure the page is really solid from a UX and UI standpoint, making sure it loads nice and quickly, gives a good experience, mobile, tablet, or PC. The other thing is internal links. So making sure that in articles or landing pages, you've got maybe 4 to 5 internal links to other relevant pages on your site. So if it's an article, it might link out to a product page or a relevant landing page, or like vice versa, you might want supporting articles or supporting pages on similar topics to link back to this new page that you've just published. Why? Well, it builds up something called topical authority. So if you're trying to rank a specific topic, it can help give that a bit of a boost. And also, if it's a brand new page, it can help it get crawled by Google easier because you've got other pages on your website already on a similar topic linking to this new article, landing page, or product page as well. So another thing to consider when you are building out a content strategy. And likewise, I'll give you one more example on the B2B SaaS SEO agency. We've built the landing page for Breaking B2B. You can see B2B SaaS SEO agency to scale qualified leads and revenue as our heading 1 H1 tag. We've got the same in our metadata. We've got the domain.com/B2B-SaaS-SEO-agency. And then we've got some internal links as we flow down to relevant pages. We've got plenty of social proof, client review videos, examples, customer quotes. We've got some case study examples and key results we got for those folks. We've got clear call to actions. As you scroll, you can check out more results or book a call, and more social proof FAQs at the end. So the next part of the strategy that's going to help you see results, see pipeline, and even revenue from SEO as quick as 90 days is publishing at scale, especially if you've got giant competitors in your industry. What you'll find is those huge competitors, the issue with their SEO programs is they're super slow moving, and that's where we can double down. Those competitors, if they're giant, what probably happens is they build out some target keywords, some money keywords they want to rank for. They plan up the content. Might take them weeks or months to plan up the content they're going to write, the pages they're going to build out. Might they take them a few more weeks for their content team to write them, some more time to design the pages, a few more months to eventually publish the pages. And by the time they've actually published a couple pages, could have been 3, 4, 5 months or more. And in the meantime, if you've got to publish at speed, you could have published 10, 20, 30, 40 pages or more. What I'd say is go at a speed that's realistic for your company. If you can ship out 2-3 pages a week, do it. If you can do more, or if you've got the cash to employ a contractor, an agency or team to help you, exhaust that bottom of funnel, exhaust those money keywords, build those best-in-class pages following the framework we've just laid out, understanding the right intent, if it's an article, if it's a landing page or different, making sure you analyze the gaps in the competitive strategy, you leverage your customer insights to really show you understand the world of the prospect, their problem, their pain points, the impact, how your solution fixes it, weaving in product imagery, following that basic technical SEO framework and making a best-in-class page that blows out the water. Do that at scale, you can start getting tons of lines in the water for both Google and AI search, so each time dream clients are searching for exactly what you offer, they're comparing their options, they're searching for problems you solve, you're going to start organically ranking top, driving those competitors out because you've got that speed to publish at scale and starting seeing quicker inbounds from your SEO efforts. So we've talked about the strategy, we've talked about content, we've talked a bit about technical SEO, but now it comes to backlinks. So do you still need backlinks? Well, in my opinion, certainly yes. Why do you need a backlink? Well, they are a trust signal that gets sent to Google. What is a backlink? In short, it's a link on another website that's directing as a do follow link to your website. Where do they kick best into play and what do they do? Well, they help build up something called your domain rating or domain authority. That's tools like Ahrefs use as a bit of a scoring system to determine how authoritative a website is. And those kind of tools say it might be easier for you to rank with certain pages and certain pieces of content if you've got a higher domain rating or domain authority. That's where backlinks kick into play. Also, if you're trying to rank super competitive terms, so earlier we talked about ranking competitive keywords, like if you're in the proposal software space, that might be best proposal tools or best proposal software. It might be super difficult if you're going against giant competitors that have really strong domain authority. So that's for pages you might need backlinks to rank effectively. So let's share 3 free and simple ways you can earn backlinks for free and start ranking those really competitive money pages. All right, so building backlinks for free. This is an awesome strategy at number 1, and this is leaning on execs or your founder or your CEO, folks from your company that have done some PR, some press in the past. All you want to do, find out whoever's done interviews or been featured on blogs or articles or similar in the past. Find out who that is on your team. Might be one person, might be several. Grab their LinkedIn profile URL. So I'm just grabbing my LinkedIn profile now for my own, copy and paste it into the search tool. In this case, I'm using Ahrefs. And then go to the side tab, hit the backlinks tab. This is where the magic happens. This is where you can see all the companies that have referred to your execs, founders, or even your own LinkedIn profile. You can filter that by which sites have got the highest domain rating. And then you can start reaching out to those prospects and seeing if they can tweak that link to your LinkedIn profile to a money keyword that you want to start boosting the authority of. Maybe one of the best use cases here is if you're struggling to rank a page, maybe it's lagging on bottom of page 1 or page 2. So for example, this is something we did when I first started breaking B2B. We were struggling to rank for terms like B2B SaaS SEO agency and B2B SEO agency. We wanted to rank for some of those as quick as 90 days. So I basically reached out I found all the sites that were citing me, maybe that I'd had interviews with or had done write-ups for in the past. So all the ones that had my LinkedIn profile and asked them to change, or actually keep the LinkedIn profile if they're up to, or I was happy for them to change that link to our focus keywords like B2B SEO agency or B2B SaaS SEO agency. So I would find out who published the article, click into, first I'd make sure that the website was relevant to our niche or industry. Then I would find out who was the author of that article or that page. I'd find them on LinkedIn, drop them a quick note and say, thanks again for having me, or thanks for having my founder or my exec on this interview or this article or this piece of PR. Would you be against making a small tweak to changing this link to instead for this is our focus keyword, if that could be a do follow link to this specific page? And most of the folks will be more than happy to help. You've already guessed it on there, you've already done the interview with them, or you've already done the press with them. If you can find the right person, LinkedIn's usually one of the best channels, and ask them for that small tweak. Maybe you offer them something in return, but a lot of them, if they're active, would be happy to help. And that's a really quick win to leverage stuff that's already on the internet, and you can filter it to the highest domain rating to start with, make sure it's relevant to your niche. You can get a super quick win for a bunch of quality do follow backlinks, especially if your founder or your exec team have done quite a lot of press in the past. All right, strategy 2 is guest podcasting, one of my favorites, and I love to use a site called Listen Notes. It's listennotes.com. And what you can do here is you can literally go onto listennotes.com, you can type in the niche that your ideal client profile is within. So in my case, I might search for SaaS marketing or B2B marketing or B2B SaaS marketing. and I can look at all the shows that are relevant to that niche. But yours might be fintech, yours might be accounting, sports, whatever topic's relevant that your niche, that your dream clients might be listening or watching. You can filter those shows by relevance. You can look at the ones that are the top 5% shows, top 10%, top 2.5% or similar. I can see my podcast flagged up here, Breaking B2B. And then what I do is I make a short list of these shows. I'd click into actually Hess podcast and more. So I'd flick onto the show. So if I give mine as an example, I can see if I flick onto Breaking B2B podcast, you can see it's a top 2.5% show. It shows me the host, myself, Sam Dunning. I would want to check that it's actually a active show to make sure they publish once a week or once a month. It's still running nicely. And then I'd make a short list of these, maybe on a Google Sheet or similar, and then start reaching out to these folks, maybe a couple outreaches a day. I'd find whoever hosts the show on LinkedIn. I'm a big fan of painfully short messages, so I'd drop them a quick note, a quick personalized request to pique their curiosity, like, hey Steve or hey Janice, had a weird idea for your podcast. Are you against a conversation? Something like that. Once they accept, I'd go as personalized as possible. I'd send them a quick recorded Loom video or Vidyard video and just go onto maybe their LinkedIn profile in the background of the screen, or their podcast in the background of the screen, or their YouTube channel, and then just say, look, enjoyed your recent episode on this topic. I've got 2 or 3 ideas that I think could be super useful for your audience. Here's idea 1, here's idea 2, here's idea 3. Would you be open to discussing having me on the show? That'll get a pretty decent response rate. And then once you get invited to a bunch of shows, do a great interview, make sure it is full of practical value and helpful. And when they publish the show, most of these podcasts will have a dedicated article page. Ask them for a backlink with a do follow link to one of your focus money keywords, and that'll give you a nice little boost. Not only that, but the chances are you can get leads from guesting on these podcasts because your dream clients are listening into it. Gives you that PR boost, builds your own audience, can drive inbound leads, plus gives you that nice juicy backlink to one of your money keywords. And then free backlink tip number 3 is leveraging partners. Again, really low lift, super beneficial, not just from an SEO standpoint, but just really good for business, gaining more leads, partnership play and more. So this partnership play, what you want to do is make a list of companies that go after the same ICP, the same ideal client profile as you, but are not direct competitors. So in our case at Breaking B2B, as a B2B and SaaS SEO agency, that might be teams like LinkedIn ads agencies, maybe other types of media agencies, maybe web design companies or similar that are serving a very similar audience but not directly offering our products or services. So my example, a friend of mine that is a partner and has now become a friend, Justin Rowe, who is the founder of a company called Impactable, a LinkedIn ads agency. I reached out to him donkeys years ago and basically gave a similar pitch. I said something super short, like, hey Justin, see we're going after similar kind of B2B companies, SaaS companies, had a bit of a strange idea to create content together. Would you be open to a chat? Something super simple like that. And then from there, we started out with doing a guest article for him. So when I launched breakingb2b.com, I wanted to ramp up backlinks as quick as possible. So I did all these strategies and I offered a guest article that would be useful for his audience. And in return, just wanted a backlink back to us, which he kind of accepted. I wrote him a nice long form article for his site, got the backlink back to our page. And from there, we've done more partnership plays. He's guested on our podcast, Breaking B2B. We've done LinkedIn Lives. He now sends referrals our way for folks needing SEO, and we send LinkedIn ads requests to those guys. So again, this play goes beyond just SEO and building links, also builds up some really good partnership plays for gaining leads, gaining referrals, gaining business, and building out that wider B2B marketing ecosystem. Next, I want to dive into a really quick win for any B2B or SaaS company that's already got existing pages on their website, landing pages, blog articles, and similar. And perhaps you've got pages that are ranking on maybe the bottom of page 1 or lagging on page 2. Really cool feature you can use on tools like Ahrefs. Other SEO tools will have similar most likely. You can click onto the opportunities tab, click to low-hanging fruit keywords. From there, you want to filter it. I'm looking at our client eventsair.com. I'll filter this to the intent tab. I'll click on commercial, so I can only look at keywords that have sales intent, so likely to result in leads or demos. Show results. I've got it set to position 4 and 15. So if I look here, I can see we've got event marketing solutions and event management solutions. I can see some competitor keywords like Cvent versus Eventbrite. And I think, nice. I can see that event marketing solution is position 4. That makes sense to evaluate that page. Maybe I can look at that page, make it a bit more detailed, add another topic, go back to my custom research, add a few more useful insights. Maybe I can make some more add some more visuals to the page. As this is a listicle top 6 event marketing softwares to consider, maybe I can add some more options to the list, go into more depth on our own section and leverage those customer insights on those pain points we solve, the impact not fixing, differentiators, why folks choose us, maybe add some more visuals, bump this article up from every angle possible from both an SEO standpoint and our customer research standpoint, maybe earn a couple links through those free strategies we talked about, and then we can see results super fast. So for example, that's what I did recently to get B2B SaaS SEO agency #1 for Breaking B2B. And we did a refresh. In this case, within 1 to 2 weeks, we bumped up from kind of near bottom of page 1, page 2 to organic position 1. So these quick wins, kind of assessing what pages are lagging on page 1 or page 2, looking at those angles that you can ramp up that page. Again, this is an article, but it could be that you've got a landing page, and again, you might look to add a YouTube video embed, you might look to add more FAQs, go into more depth on your process or how you solve pain points, earn some backlinks using those strategies we've laid out, and then you could see wins as quick as weeks. It's a really solid strategy if you've already got some commercial kind of money keywords that are perhaps lagging a bit behind and you want to refresh those articles and start driving pipeline through SEO super quick. So we've talked a lot about strategy and execution, but how can we see if our SEO program is on the right tracks? What are some of the early signals and some of the later signs of life that we're on the right tracks? What should we look for as leading early stage indicators as well as lagging later stage indicators? And what should we be reporting to the rest of our team, our execs, or our funding companies or our VCs to show that we're really on a solid plan with our SEO and things are moving well? So first off, let's start with leading indicators, and that would be things like making sure organic rankings are on the up for our money keywords that have high buying intent, that commercial value behind them. It would then be looking at things like click-through rates, making sure they're getting clicked in the search engine results pages, and using tools like Google Search Console to see the clicks behind that data. We then look at perhaps things like session times to make sure folks aren't instantly bouncing on these pages, but maybe they're landing on our article that's ranking or a landing page that's ranking. They're spending a good amount of time, not just a few seconds, but maybe minutes on the website on that page. And maybe they're flicking through. We're using tools like Google Analytics to see if they're flicking then through to some of our core pages, maybe product pages, maybe a pricing page, maybe results pages, and then maybe eventually to demo page and otherwise. And the good thing about analyzing that is not only does it show good signs that the page is actually working, you might be then able to retarget those folks either with your sales team or with outreach tools or ads. And yeah, really checking that you're getting ranked well for the organic money keywords, that they're getting click-throughs, that folks are spending a decent amount of time on those pages, they're then navigating further on the website. You can see all those early stages as signs of life. And then the lagging indicators would be things like, is that traffic actually resulting in sales pipeline? So at the top of funnel or mid funnel, it might be assets getting downloaded or folks signing up to the newsletter, or at the bottom of funnel, it would be booked calls, booked demos, free signups or similar. And of course, we want to be tracking this all in our CRM to make sure those leads that are coming from organic search are converting to closed won sales and revenue. Now, when it comes to both the leading indicators and the lagging indicators, to show signs of life, I would report all those wins as soon as you see them to your leadership team, whether that's pulling screenshots and chucking them in a Google Drive or chucking screen grabs into Slack, i.e., look, we just hit organic position 1, or we just got an AI overview, or we just got a featured snippet, chucking that into your Slack group or via email. Maybe once you start getting some good session times on those organic high sales intent pages, again, you start showing those analytics screenshots or those click-through rates from Search Console leadership. And then once the leads start coming in and you've got that data that came from organic search or organic search SEO was part of that buyer journey, again, grab a screenshot of the booked call or the demo or the sign up and chuck that into a Slack with the rest of your team or leadership team. And when you're pulling in this data, make sure you use a mix of sources. So add a how did you hear about us field on your inquiry forms or your call booking scheduler, but then get your sales team to ask the same again. So when they do join the call, say, look, what was your full route to finding us today? Because they might say something completely different to what they put on the form. For example, in the past, I've had folks put, how did you hear about us as the podcast, Breaking B2B? But then when I spoke to them, it might be, oh yeah, we searched for B2B SaaS SEO agencies or B2B SEO agencies on Google, read through the article, talked about it internally on Slack, then listened to your podcast, Breaking B2B, for a few months, followed you on LinkedIn, and searched for it again, and eventually booked a call. It's always useful to get that data by actually asking on sales calls and recording those calls. You can even dive a level deeper and say, what made you take the time to book a call with us or fill out a form today? Because I know I don't necessarily do that on every single vendor I evaluate. And these insights are useful beyond SEO for your own content marketing, messaging, ads, and more. And of course, check analytics tools like Google Analytics, where you can see if folks are coming through organic search and the other channels they might be finding you, and put all those pieces together. So using analytics, using the how did you hear about us, asking again on sales calls, putting all that data together in your CRM, and then making educated decisions on how SEO is driving pipeline. And I couldn't do an in-depth B2B and SaaS SEO video without going into ranking on AI searches, both on Google AI overviews as well as ChatGPT and LLMs. So I'll share a few quick things that have been working for us and clients and what I've heard from the industry as well. So one of the big things right now seems to be brand mentions on relevant, niche relevant external sites seems to be quite solid in showing up on the LLMs like ChatGPT and otherwise. And this is a lot of this is just standard good SEO practice, because brand mentions can come from building backlinks, so doing those strategies we talked about, leveraging your founder or your exec teams to piggyback on past press, guesting on niche relevant podcasts, very similar, partnership plays, again, going after niche relevant partners that serve the same ICP but aren't direct competitors. All of that works. Plus there's other strategies you can do to leverage this kind of PR niche relevant backlink building play. Another is having clear and well structured pages, so clear H1, H2s, heading 2 tags to break up text, making sure articles or landing pages are really visual and easy to read. And also we've started introducing for some of our article pages, like I'm looking at checkwriters.com, their payroll reports, a list of the top 8 payroll reports or providers page. We've got quick summaries and also why listen to us. And we find that's helped actually get picked up by AI overviews for our clients with the articles we craft, and can also help with things like featured snippets on Google too, and getting picked up in the LLMs for AI search. A few other points: engaging content and leveraging rich media. So that could be video embeds or similar. Making sure you follow EEAT, so making sure whoever's building out the content has that hands-on experience and expertise. Using trust signals, so having an author, publish date when you're writing articles. Weaving in social proof, client quotes, customer testimonials, client review videos and such. Making sure content's actually well researched. It's not just AI slop that's instantly generated on an AI tool. It's actually well thought out. And if you're going to use an AI tool, maybe use that to help you craft the outline of the landing page or article, and then get that hands-on expertise from your sales team, from customer research, from customer calls, your customer success team and more, to make sure your article really resonates. Super important in SEO in general, especially if you're high ticket B2B offer. Folks aren't going to land on your page, and if it has a load of jargon and stuff that just doesn't make much sense, even if it ranks well, it's going to cause folks to bounce off and go to a competitor that gives them a better experience. Aside from that, make sure the content that you put together is in a nice, well-written conversational format, going after long tail keywords, which we talked about in our money keyword matrix earlier, addressing common queries, objections and such, which we talked about you can do in the copy itself, or if you've got a landing page and an FAQ section that addresses those real queries from customer research, sales calls, customer success calls and more. And then basic technical SEO, which we talked about earlier, not worrying too much about doing month long technical audits, but nailing the basics and making sure you give folks an enjoyable experience on your website. And last off, I've got my weird, unusual tip as promised, and that is really doubling down on YouTube. So if you're watching, you'll see right now I've searched B2B SaaS SEO. And if we look at the video section, we can see 3 videos. First one's my ultimate SaaS SEO strategy for 2025. Second's my B2B SaaS SEO 5 easy ways to rank number 1. And the third is me being interviewed on a different podcast on YouTube. So you get 3 pieces of real estate in the organic search results that show up right near, in this case, they show up right at the top of the organic search, which is awesome. So you can get folks into your ecosystem, building that trust by them checking you out on YouTube and consuming your videos. Plus, if you rank top of organic search, there's a chance you could get 3 listings with the video. And you could actually, depending on the intent of the page, you might be able to get 2 organic listings like we talked about earlier. You might be able to rank for a landing page and maybe an article. So you get potentially 5 organic chances, 5 organic bites of the cherry, and maybe 6 if you include a paid sponsored listing as well. So real superpower. Not only that, YouTube, of course, run by Google, it's its own search engine within itself. So it's a really good way to build trust outside of SEO. Build up more trust with prospects that are consuming your video content, checking out your website and more. And the other awesome thing of video is embedding YouTube videos on relevant pages, whether that's articles like we've done on B2B SaaS SEO agency. We've embedded a B2B SaaS SEO video. If you weave in a relevant video on the topic, from what we've seen, it gives a bit of a boost in the organic results. Plus, for some of those listings itself on Google's organic listings, you can actually get a little image of the video if you embed it on the page. So it even improves your click-through rates. Instead of just having the meta title description as plain text, you can get a little thumbnail snippet next to your listing. So it gives you a bit of a click-through increase. So super neglected, especially in the B2B space. Still tons of B2B companies and SaaS companies that are sleeping on YouTube. So really recommend doubling down. Been super good for breaking B2B. And there you have it. That's the exact system that we've used to help B2B service and B2B SaaS companies rank organic number 1 on Google and AI searches, driving millions in pipeline and revenue for their businesses. But if you lack the resource, knowledge, or systems internally, it could take months or years of trial and error to make it a success for your company. Or you could work with a team like Breaking B2B to run the full strategy and execution for you. This is exactly how we've helped companies like Eventsair, Payara, CheckWriters, and dozens more rank organic position 1 on Google and AI searches, driving qualified leads, demos, sales calls on autopilot through inbound organic searches. So if you're ready to make that happen for your B2B company, head over to breakingb2b.com to grab a call. We can analyze exactly where you're at now and where you'd like to get to see if we're a good fit to make SEO a top pipeline and revenue driver for your business, or hit the link in the description below. Or if you're not ready, why not grab my free 90 days to revenue B2B SEO guide? Head over to breakingb2b.com and hit the newsletter tab to unlock it instantly, or check out the weekly Breaking B2B podcast. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.